Tom, we know that you're a footballer for Sheffield United, but tell us about yourself.
The people that don't know me really, and for both of you, really been into speaking out about mental health, and especially in football and in the situations I've been through, really, just to spread a bit of awareness that for men and for anybody really, that it's okay to speak out about situations and emotions you may be feeling. So yeah, that's something I've been really passionate about. Obviously, I've been involved in work with my previous club and now with Sheffield United.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Tom, on that. And Ben, you're just down the road from Bramall Lane on John Street.
We are on John Street, yeah.
Tell us about your background.
84 John Street, bred out of a running club, which I set up 2 years ago to help people with physical and mental health. We've built quite a strong community through that and continue today to help people through running and through just being part of a community and having a group of people to be around and do things socially with after my own struggles with my mental and physical health, which led me to start it all. And it continues to help me with mine and continues to get more and more people involved to help them with theirs.
Would you mind telling me about the origins of that, Ben? I mean, you know, as you say, all of this stemmed from your own mental health challenges.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, if you would.
So I suffered with quite bad sort of depression and anxiety in the past, probably in my latter teens. And to be honest, looking back at it now, I think a lot of it, I think some of it is deep-rooted in you, but I do believe that a lot of mine was actually self-inflicted, which is why I'm sort of on the journey I am today, because mine was self-inflicted through poor life decisions. So we're talking bad health, bad diet, poor decisions with alcohol, bad relationship with alcohol. And that's why today, like I say, I'm on the journey I am, because although I think a lot of people do struggle with mental health that sort of, like I say, is deep-rooted in them, I do believe a lot of it is now caused through poor life decisions of their own. And that's sort of my message that I want to get across, that I want to help people make better life decisions. So sort of more of a prevention than the cure. So sort of teach people about how to look after themselves better, how to be part of a community and all that side of it. So yeah, that's sort of my story, because that's what I was crying out for.
Thanks for sharing that, Ben. And Tom, same question to you, really. You know, I think we look at footballers, you know, they're in the spotlight all the time. And we don't, I think, and this is a sweeping statement, but we don't regularly associate them with, you know, dealing with social conscience and, you know, dealing with social matters in the way that you do. What led you to that?
You know, I played football for the majority of my life, and that's been a big outlet for me to, you know, be part of a team, express myself within a team. And as I grew older and it became a bit more serious, it wasn't just for fun, it was a bit more competitive, and it actually mattered a lot more because it could become a job. Then a lot of pressure come on that side of things with performance and fans and trying to impress managers, be part of different teams with different cultures. So I think for me it was a lot to take in, especially for at a young age, when I first started playing, I was turning 17, 18, playing with men that were, you know, in the 30s, coming to the end of the career. So, you know, you kind of thrusted into that environment and sort of got to get on with the situation kind of thing. So, you know, I'm very grateful for, you know, the injuries I've had, although that might sound a bit controversial to say as a footballer, because you want to be playing football. It's given me a lot of time to reflect on, you know, the life choices I was making, the stress and situations where I was probably not coping in the best way, keeping emotions to myself and trying to shoulder everything, because since 17, that's what I've been doing, being part of this man's game, really. So yeah, I think it's given me a lot of time to reflect on that. Luckily enough, I've got a decent platform, and you know, the club is great with stuff like this, where I can speak out and use that platform to you know, just to try and show that if I can speak out about how my mental health's doing, then I think hopefully fans and younger people that maybe see my platform or see footballers speaking about this thing makes it a lot easier for them to, you know, break that cycle that men have to be this type of way and we have to be strong and it's weak to show your emotions. We were speaking before about as a human being, you maybe go through 10, 15, 20 different emotions throughout the day. And as a footballer, maybe even more so going through training, losses, big ups and downs. And it's kind of like, I always thought I had to be this one robotic way and I couldn't be seen to be down because I'm a footballer and I've got the best job in the world and get paid really well to do it. And it's like, that's not the case. So I think now when I speak about it, it sometimes comes across like I'm still struggling, but I've got to say this is the happiest I've ever been. Like my life now compared to how I was going through injuries and stuff like that, it's night and day really. I mean, and this is just through small changes like diet and stress management, speaking out about things, instead of disconnecting in certain situations through wherever that may be, it's connecting and understanding why I feel that way. And just noticing that it's fine to feel these different things.
Have you found it easy to speak in the way that you've just been talking about, especially, you know, in the world of football, men's football, where, as you've said, you're expected to be almost robotic, I think was the word you used?
Yeah, I think it can be difficult. Luckily enough, through, you know, fashion and the type of person I am, I don't really mind being that sort of different type of person, which is great for me because I get to do everything I really want to do, and I don't feel held back. But I think, I mean, it's incredible that we're such a team. We spend so many hours of the days, the weeks, spend more time with the team sometimes than I do with me partner at home. But really, we don't ever speak past the surface level thing, really, about football or about how a game went, or, you know, it's really important that we try and connect on a bigger level. So I think through that, I'm happy to do that. Guys are getting more open to talking about things. I think the one place it's been hard is when I have spoke out about things in the media and it's kind of received in, not in a way that there's something wrong with me, but in a way that it doesn't fully feel accepted, and it's kind of like, oh, he's struggling again, when, like I've said, this is the happiest I've been, and I'm really proud of the progress I've made, and I'm really excited to see where this will take me in the next 6 months, say, year or wherever.
This is for Men's Mental Health Day, and Ben, I'd like to ask you, you know, how have you found it just talking about your mental health challenges and being a man?
I know this might sound cliche and everyone from the running club will probably not laugh, but they'll probably laugh that I'm getting this saying in, but listening to you talk then is like what we put on the back of our t-shirts, and the main saying at the club is speaking is strength. Mm-hmm. And for me, like now, when someone speaks to me and opens up, I actually value them more. I look at them and think, wicked, like you are like not learning, but you're learning about yourself, you're becoming stronger. So that's why I really push that saying now, that speaking is strength, because honestly, genuinely, when someone says something to me about struggling or something, I think, yeah man, I want to give them a hug. I'm like, wicked, I'm glad you've shared that with me, because it means you're dealing with it yourself. Does that make sense? Because you can't deal with all this stuff in your head, because you can't, not on your own. A lot of people struggle with that, and it's when you trap things in your mind, that's when it just snowballs and gets worse. So yeah, about speaking, I just think it's like really empowering when people do it, and not only them doing it themselves, but on myself. Like, I think, wow, I'm so glad you were happy to share that with me.
Yeah,
it's nice to know that people feel comfortable, and that's sort of my mission, to like get that message across, like speaking is strength.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because, you know, as I was sort of explaining to you both earlier, I lost my son to suicide 3.5 years ago, and whenever I meet somebody who's been through similar things, it's like you're a kindred spirit, you know, immediately when you meet them. And like just meeting you guys today, I just sort of felt an instant bond because both of you have known hard times. You've both come through it, and you're both willing to share it so that other people won't feel so alone, won't feel so bad. But why is it, 3/4 of the people who take their lives are men? Tom, why do you think that is?
Again, being from Liverpool and moving to Sheffield in the short time I've been here, I think definitely in Liverpool there's a working class feel of like you get on with your stuff as a man. You do what you've got to do as a man. You look after people, and sort of your feelings, your situation falls second because it's not as important as putting food on the table or wherever that may be. And I think maybe that is a big thing that we sort of have to break this cycle. Like you say, being able to speak about your emotions will only empower your own life.
I think it's a pride thing with men as well. Yeah. I think men struggle to open up. Not that women aren't proud, that isn't what I'm saying at all, but I think men really value their pride and their masculinity, which can sometimes get on top of them. Like if they're unwilling to drop that, not just let their pride down a bit and say, I'm struggling, and like, this is why, whether it's whatever it could be, financial, whatever that thing is that's bothering you, like if you just let your pride go and say, this is what's wrong, how can I address it? I need to talk about it, and because it can all get sorted out.
Yeah, I'm really interested because I don't know whether you've noticed, but I'm a little bit older than you two. And what are you laughing at? And were you, as boys, were you taught stiff upper lip, man up, all that kind of stuff, or are things really changing, Ben?
I don't think that was something that was drilled into me as a child. No, I don't know whether society, like you say, it's funny that men do feel that way, but no, I'm not really sure exactly why that is. It's a difficult one.
For me, one reason is, well, if I come back to your question about how was I treated as a child, I had everything I could ask for. I had great parents, but I learned, as being a child, a man, I learned a lot through my dad. Whether that's discussed or just learn behaviours through the things he does. And I think in a household, when we're talking about, these things of men putting the family first and, being too proud to speak up, then if I never have a male figure in my life that's opening up to me about emotions and saying, this is how I feel today, how are you, what's going on with this, and you don't have that sort of characteristic in a male figure in your life, then that's the way you're going to grow up. And I'm sure my dad, when he was a boy, never had that, and I'm sure the dad of my granddad never had that from his dad. So again, it's kind of, if I can't learn from another male in my life that's speaking about how he's feeling, and how am I ever supposed to learn about it? Which is why I think, like yourself, the work you're doing and here too at 84 John Street, it's amazing really, because you see men now speak on a platform where younger generations will see this and feel it's okay to speak about this stuff.
Step up and try and be a role model, someone to refer to, isn't it? It's just seeing these conversations happen more is amazing, isn't it? Because it makes it feel more acceptable.
It really is, and it's your generation. You're the ones who are driving this forward. It's certainly not my again sweeping statement, but it's your generation. I just sort of wondered, by the way, is he paying you to sort of say the name of this place?
You did slip that in there. That was nice.
What is it again?
I won't say it again. It's behind you. I won't say it again.
So what would your advice to be? If there's a guy out there who may be sitting, in the stands or, going running with you, Ben, what do you say to somebody who says, I don't know if it's worth it. I just, I don't feel that I can carry on. What would you say?
Just keep them talking. Keep them talking. Get to the bottom of it. There is something that's bothering you, and please just open up to me and tell me what it is, because there's something in there driving that feeling, and it's something that we can change, whatever that may be, through change of lifestyle, exercise, diet, like you've said, all them things, but not always about that. It could just simply be someone that's lonely, that just needs to find a sense of place, anything. Let's find out what it is that's bothering you, and then we can address it. Because genuinely, I always believe that there is something that's deep in there that we can address, and we can find it, and we can change.
There is an answer.
Yeah,
so
there
it's
is
an
an answer.
optimistic
There's always
message.
an answer. Yeah. There is always an answer, and it is literally just talking that will do it. So just open up.
Tom, there's a young guy sitting in the stadium who looks up to you, as so many do, and thinks, what do I do? How do I get to be like him? How do I get through the turmoil like you got through?
Exactly what you're saying. There's always an answer if you can speak and keep speaking, and that's the biggest thing to do. I'd also say it's not just going to be one day really, like it's going to be a breakthrough. I think it's a lot of work that can take a lot of time, but if you are on that journey and you want to take them steps, then there will be people to help and make that possible. I think one thing that I've one small technique that I do now with my partner, which could help if you've got a friend and you want to reach out and build a connection with them. So with my partner, I'll share for 2 minutes just how I'm feeling about the day, where I've gone through, and then she'll share back to me where I've said, and she'll do the same for 2 minutes. And it's really interesting because once you start speaking, once you get past the sort of surface level stuff of what you've done in the day, really, you can find yourself saying things that you probably didn't even notice were there. And for me, that's been a really useful technique to be able to do that. And then I'll hear her telling me the things I've said back, and I can understand her, and we can then discuss after if we want to about why I'm feeling that way or anything like that. So I think that's a really great tip that I've been told. If you've got a friend or a family member, wherever it may be, I think it's really helpful.
One of the great things about Talk Club that we do at the stadium every Wednesday, 6 till 8, completely free, don't have to talk. Bit of a plug there.
That was your plug, yeah. You have to slip that one.
The first sort of question is, how are you out of 10 and why? And it's a brilliant question because it gets you to rate your mood, which again, we're not kind of used to it, I think a lot of us anyway, and then to explain why you've put yourself as a 4 or a 5 or whatever, and we always say, it's not just Talk Club, it's Listen Club as well, because as you guys have said, the talking is really important, but the listening is as well.
And I think the listening is as important, because sometimes you might listen to someone sharing how they're feeling, and even if you don't feel confident sharing, which everyone doesn't, you can still get so much from just listening to how someone else is dealing with something, because it might be exactly how you're feeling. You just haven't got that confidence yet to open up about how you feel. So
well, it's been proven, hasn't it, that helping other people makes you feel better in yourself anyway, 100%. Just the act of doing that. I just would like to ask both of you, when you were in, or the times maybe that you've been in that very dark place, it's hard, isn't it? Because you can never imagine that you'll ever get to, that you'll reach salvation, that you'll get through it all. And that's part of the hardest thing, isn't it, when you're in that moment, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. I think also for me, I didn't fully realise that I was in that stage too. It was kind of just like that was how my life was going, and I was angry at things that I didn't even know why I was angry. I was upset with things, smallest things in my life, and it was just a big build-up of these emotions that I'd held in, and like you said, trying to figure out where's this breath of fresh air going to come from, or where am I going to get above this sort of drowning feeling. But like we've said about, it is out there, and we're proof of that, what I mean? And it's just taking them small steps and believing that you will get out of it, and then slowly getting yourself on that path, I think.
You're quite a rounded individual, I think, and I'm sure lots of other people do, because, you've got your football, you've got this sort of, social conscience that you've demonstrated here today very, very clearly. You've also got the fashion, and I'm curious about that, because, again, it's sort of, you love your fashion, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think now I'm going down more the sustainable route in fashion, which we spoke about today. here, which is great. You know, it's all about anything.
Say it again.
No, I was waiting for him to say the name of his company, which you're allowed to do, I think.
Yeah, so I've got a company too called Chop Value, which we're doing.
Chop Value.
We're doing really great things in sustainability, circular economy, building a community in Liverpool at the minute, hiring locally. And, you know, it's just another chance for me to express myself in sort of a world that maybe is a bit foreign, where I get to make new connections and communicate on a wider audience, meet new people, have great conversations like this, and just try and live a full life and be part of things I'm interested in and that I really care for. Yeah.
Where did the idea of using chopsticks come from?
There's one guy, a German guy, who started it in Canada, called Felix Bock. So we franchised it from him. It's just an amazing idea, really, and such a, you know, humble thing that you wouldn't really consider to be causing so much waste, and the amount of trees we save from being cut down by using our product too it's amazing, really. So yeah, I'm really proud of it, and that's something else that really fills me with football, with, you know, speaking about this stuff, which is really important throughout everyone's life, really, to be connected.
Yeah, it's
in that
incredible, incredible. And Ben, I mean, you know, do you have? You were a barber, weren't you?
Yeah, I still am today. Yeah. So yeah, I started out as a barber straight from school at 15, 16, and I think, to be honest, that's probably where all this has sort of mental health has come from, because I've just been having conversations since I was 15 with men of all ages, and so many people trust and confide in the barber. It opened my eyes to how many people are out there struggling, which helped me with my struggles, because you don't feel alone. So again, talking, that's all I used to do. It's all I still do all day, every day, because I still do cut hair. And that's what led me to do this, because it made me realise how many people are out there struggling. And a lot of it is through poor life choices, and that's what I saw in people, to be honest. And seeing what running did for myself, that's why I sort of transformed my life. Finding your vice, like you were just saying about that, like having another focus, something else that you put your energy and your time into. So yeah, from barbering to the run club to where we are today.
Yeah, and it's kind of a natural progression, that, isn't it? Because we all, I think, probably recognise that your barber is your free therapist, basically.
Yeah, definitely. So many people open up about stuff. Yeah, I've got some stories.
Why do people open up to their barber or hairdresser? What do you think
Trust,
is that relationship?
I think it's trust. I also think a big thing of it is, if you sit down like me and you today, Tom, and I'm sat here across from you like a traditional therapist would be, it's quite awkward. That eye to eye, full on, it's like a bit intense. The best time to talk to your teenager is like sat in the car next to him, because you're not having that like really intense. So I think that's a similar thing with a barber. There's a distraction, like I'm doing your hair and we're chatting and they'll just ramble, and like before you know it, and you're like, oh, that was good.
Don't you think as well sometimes that it's quite good to talk to somebody who's a little bit detached, who's not your partner, who's not your kids, you know, because it's a common thing, isn't it, that you don't want to burden people, in inverted commas.
A trusted, impartial person is important to everyone, I think. If you can find that person, that will help.
Yeah, and Tom, just sort of rounding up from you, what's the one thing that you would say that you can pass on that helped you, that may well help other people?
I think, just believing that there's better days ahead, really. Like I said, it can be quite hard when you're in that moment to think of that, but if you can just keep believing that it's not always going to be like that, and you will get out of that phase, and then sticking to, you know, things that you set, whether it's to be trying to be more open with people, whether it's to find a vice, whether it's to be more healthy. And then I think if you can slowly start to get into that good routine of doing things to make yourself more healthy, and, you know, once you've done 2 weeks of maybe running, and you try and integrate all right, I'll try and be a bit more open, and if you can stick to that, then there's definitely a better side to wherever you're feeling currently.
Thanks both of you. I've really enjoyed